Beginning of the movie, Jenna and her fiancé are driving in their car at night. The soon-to-be married couple are very loving to each other, but there is a tragic end to this love story. While going back to their house, they are met with a fatal car accident which heavily injures Jenna but takes her partner's life. 3 years after that incident, Jenna's friend Renee is taking her on a trip. They are joined by Renee's boyfriend Michael and his good friend Ian. Actually, Renee planned this trip to set up Jenna with Ian. She hasn't dated anyone since her fiancé's death, so she wants her to move on and get into a relationship. When the two guys are alone, Ian confesses that he found Jenna very cute. The four of them get into a boat to reach a lakeside cabin where they'll be staying. When they reach the lakeside cabin, we see that a man has been waiting for them. That man is Ian's uncle Wade. Ian says that the cabin actually belongs to his uncle. Wade warmly welcomes them and prepares them a drink which Jenna kindly refuses. While everyone enjoys their shot, Jenna goes inside the cabin. She enters the bathroom and then takes out a bottle of pills. She has been taking antidepressants ever since the tragic accident 3 years back. In the evening, four of them have dinner with Uncle Wade while getting acquainted with one another. Wade informs them that he has fixed them some invitations to a nearby private party. He then leaves the cabin saying that he has to go work on something. The four friends discuss that they have some time before they can go to the party, so they decide to relax in the sauna. The boys go early to start the sauna, leaving the two girls alone. Renee tells Jenna that she doesn't have to join them if she feels uncomfortable, but Jenna insists that she's okay with it. She goes to get ready, and we see that she still has the engagement ring tied to her necklace. In an effort to move on, she takes the necklace off and keeps it in a drawer with her pills. Renee, Michael, and Ian have already entered the sauna, and Michael starts to get really excited to see his girlfriend in a bikini. A little later, Jenna comes downstairs and takes 2 bottles of water with her. She still isn't sure if she wants to do this, but just when she is about to return, Ian opens the door and asks her to come in. So, Jenna finally does go inside the sauna and joins her friends. Renee takes a bottle of water and starts to drink, while the boys are happy with their beers. Ian says that the sauna was actually designed by Wade. To demonstrate the sauna's design, Ian pours water over the hot rocks, which quickly lets out hot steam. After a while, the heat inside the room starts to get stronger, and soon it gets unbearable for all of them. Ian then suggests they should go out and jump in the lake and return back after cooling off their body. All of them agree to this and get out of the sauna. They jump into the lake and balance the temperature of their body with the cold lake water. They are all enjoying the experience. A few minutes later, they return back and both the girls enter the sauna while Ian and Michael share a drink in the kitchen. Renee asks Jenna if she is having fun, and Jenna replies that she is. Ian also admits to Michael that he likes Jenna before going inside. Michael, on the other hand, starts to drink excessively to a point where he barely has control over his own body. A little later, they once again go outside into the lake to cool their body. And when they return, Michael wants his girlfriend to come with him in his room. Since he is drunk, Michael wants to sleep with her, but Renee is in no mood for that. She tells off Michael and angrily slams the sauna door. Michael also gets furious after facing rejection from his girlfriend. Renee starts to complain about Michael to her friends, and all of a sudden they hear a noise of Michael falling on the ground. Renee believes that Michael is just trying to get her attention. Ian doesn't want their friends to fight, so he gets up to bring Michael back inside. But Renee stops him and tells him to just leave him alone. Ian closes the door and Renee starts to get frustrated. Since Ian already ruined her mood, she wants to go to her room. She gets up and tries to open the door, but she can't seem to get it open. Ian then tries to get the door open. He tries with all his strength to move the door, but it doesn't even move an inch. Seeing this, Jenna starts to panic. Renee calls out to Michael, thinking that it was him who locked them inside. Ian also calls Michael to let them outside, but they get no response. Ian says that if Michael is joking with them, he will eventually let them out. But Jenna is starting to get anxiety attacks since she didn't take her pills before getting inside the sauna. Renee is concerned that Michael is so drunk that he might forget that they are inside. Jenna hopes that Wade will return back and open the door for them. But Ian tells her that when Wade returns, he'll just think that they went to the party and won't bother checking in the sauna. Ian and Renee check the door and find that something is blocking the door, which was preventing it from being opened. Renee starts to worry that they might lose their life if nobody opens the door. The heat controller is also outside the sauna, so they cannot slow down the temperature from inside the room. They cannot sit inside waiting for someone to come and open the door, so Renee tries to break the glass window, but it's too weak to even crack it. Ian then takes a towel and tries to grab a rock from the sauna heater. Since it's extremely hot, Ian takes the rock out with the help of a wooden tool. He manages to get a rock out, but it's still too hot for him to hold. So, they take the water bottles and they each take a few sips from it. Ian pours the remaining water into the bucket and puts the rock in it to let it cool. When the rock gets cool enough, Ian grabs it and starts to smash the glass window of the door. Ian uses all his strength, but the rock only manages to scratch the window. He even cuts his hands, but the window still doesn't break. Despite all this, Ian doesn't stop and finally manages to break the glass window, which lets in some air from outside. They call out for help, but there is no one to listen to their cries. They see that a small ladder is blocking the door from being opened. Ian ties the rock to the towels, and then he tries to move the ladder by swinging the rock at its direction, but the rock is too small to move the ladder. Renee wants to break the thermostat, which controls temperature based on the settings set outside by the controller. She believes doing so will get the temperature down, but Ian says that can also result in the temperature rising to its maximum of 247 Fahrenheit, at which point human skin starts to melt. Jenna gets on Ian's side and tells Renee to not mess with the device. In return, Renee verbally attacks Jenna, and the two start to argue with each other. The atmosphere inside the sauna has changed a lot since they have been locked inside. Then, Ian comes up with a plan. His plan is to stop the heater by cutting the power to it. Ian tries to blow the fuse by messing with the bulbs, but instead of blowing the fuse, it blows the lights and keeps the heater running. He also gets a severe electric shock and passes out. Ian later gets his consciousness back, but he is too weak to even move. With the lights out and the heater still running, their situation gets much worse than before. Then suddenly, they hear Wade's dog barking. They call the dog by its name, and the dog finds their location. But the dog cannot open the door for them. It has to bring someone there to open the door. Will they get saved? Will they survive from this? Where is Michael in all this? And more importantly, who trapped them inside the sauna? Let's find out. The barking of the dog has brought Michael's attention to it. He doesn't seem drunk, and he also looks like he came from somewhere. Renee calls out to Michael, but just then Wade, who got back a few minutes earlier, is seen handling the fireworks for the festival with another guy. The loud noise from the fireworks doesn't let Renee's cry of help reach Michael. Little later, Michael and Wade meet at the back of the house. Seeing each other, they completely disregard the dog's barking. Wade asks him why he was alone, and Michael tells his story. After getting drunk, he fell asleep on the couch. When he woke up, he found himself alone in the cabin. So, he thought that his friends left him alone and went to the party all by themselves. He then went to the party, but wasn't allowed to get inside since he didn't have any invitation. So, with no other options left, he returned back to the cabin and found Wade and his dog. Back in the sauna, the situation transcends as the group runs out of water to drink, and Renee gets sick from the hot temperature. Renee ultimately decides to break the controller, thinking it will lower down the temperature. But Jenna is concerned that it will just make things worse, so she tries to stop her. Renee starts yelling at her, and Jenna inadvertently hits her head with a rock, which knocks her out unconscious. Jenna starts freaking out as she fears that she might have killed her friend. Ian checks on Renee and says that she's just unconscious. But Jenna is too scared, and she starts to shake nervously. Out of desperation, she decides to break the controller herself. She grabs the rock and uses it to smash the thermostat. And, as Ian feared, it starts to increase the heat to its maximum capacity of 247 Fahrenheit. Seeing this, and after having warned not to mess with the thermostat, Ian turns hysterical. Ian goes through an uncontrollable emotion of madness, and Jenna gets scared of him. The heat is also slowly starting to reach its maximum level. Ian grabs the heater and tries to move it, which burns his body, but he doesn't stop. In a state of madness, Ian manages to move the heater, but the gas from it leaks and blows up on Ian's body. At this point, Jenna is able to escape the sauna. She gets outside and drinks water and pours some on her body. She goes into her room and starts to cry, but in reality, she is just hallucinating. She regains consciousness and finds herself back in the sauna, severely wounded, but still alive. She finds that Ian has lost his life. Renee has also gained her consciousness back, but she is too weak to move. Jenna pulls her body near the broken window and holds her so she can breathe. She manages to keep Renee's body standing by tying her with the towels, and then she faints with the extreme heat inside the sauna. Meanwhile, Michael, who is still unaware of his friends being trapped in the sauna, gets back to the cabin where a flashback shows him at the scene where he left the sauna earlier. It shows how Michael was so intoxicated that he inadvertently knocked down the wooden step near the door, which ended up trapping his friends inside. At the end, Wade arrives back at the cabin and discovers Renee's head from the window. The paramedics arrive and take Jenna and Renee away in a stretcher as they hold hands, having survived. Wade gives his statement to the police, while Michael sits down crying and thinking how his mistake took the life of his friend. Thanks for watching.